Mm, Here we go. Okay, we are ready to go. Hello, hello, hello. I want to welcome you to our monthly lunch and learn with Heart Homes Realty LLC. I am Adelai Brown, your heart coach and heart realtor. And I'm so excited to be here with you today. I want to shout out Michelle and everyone that's tuning in live. We just thank you guys so much for being here. And we started the monthly lunch and learns last year, actually in December, because I really see a need for many buyers and investors and just individuals in the public to really understand more about real estate. I have found that there are a lot of people that really don't know even how to start the process to purchase a home. They don't know what's required to purchase a home, and they don't even know some of their options. So we decided that we were going to do monthly lunch and learns and take you through the 10-step process that we take our clients through when they are purchasing their home. So we're just going to go through this. I'll go through the presentation, and if you have any questions or anything at the end, please don't hesitate to let me know, and we will definitely discuss those. So today's topic is step 2 in our 10-step process, which is budgeting. Your money needs a mission. And that's one thing that I really want us to think about as we go throughout this day. Your money needs a mission. All right. So a little bit about me. I am Adelai Brown, your Heart Homes agent and the heart coach. I am a heart work practitioner with an emotional intelligence focus, just meaning I do life and business coaching. I am a licensed realtor. I do community mentoring, and just really have committed myself to doing what we call heart work. Heart is an acronym for healing, honesty, enlightenment, empowerment, authenticity, and accountability, revitalization, and transformation. And that's the type of work that we do. And you'll hear me mention heart equity. That work, when you do that work, you grow what we call heart equity, which is personal, relational, and financial wealth that we obtain through authentic living. I do believe that we're living in a time where we really need to be clear about who we are, why we're here, why we're doing what we're doing. And that's why at Heart Homes Realty, we're really committed to helping individuals do just that. So I'm an advocate for wealth building through authentic living. And my mission is simple. Every heart deserves a home. I believe that. I believe every heart deserves a home that they can live in and feel safe in. I also believe that every heart deserves a home that they can use to build wealth and really grow the legacy that they want to grow in their lives. And that's why we're here. We're focused on completing that mission. So we're going to go ahead and get into today's teaching, right? Because you're on your lunch break, and we're just going to try to get on through here really quickly. So budgeting plus goal setting. Your money needs a mission. Budgeting creates clarity, not restriction. And many times when I talk to individuals about purchasing a home, I usually ask, well, what do you have saved? Or how much money do you have put up? And, you have some people that'll say nothing. And then you have some, I've had some people that have had millions of dollars of assets put up for them to purchase homes. But no matter where you are on your purchasing limit, you want to make sure that you have a budget that you are following. Many times when people want to purchase a home, they're just going off of looks and feels. And what is the truth about purchasing a home is you have to purchase what your income shows that you can afford, especially if you're trying to get financing. You do have some people that purchase property straight cash, But for those that are getting financing, especially, you want to make sure that you're budgeting so that you are clear about what you can afford. You are clear about how much you may need to save or what you might need to invest in order for you to be able to purchase. So it's not, I don't want you to see budgeting as a restriction. I want you to see budgeting as a a skill that you develop or even get better at so that you're able to navigate the real estate market the best way that you possibly can. So goals turn intention into movement. This is so true because I can't tell you how many clients I've had that just say, I don't make enough money. I am not able to save. My job doesn't pay me enough. My rent is too high. I have too many other expenses and debts. I cannot save. Those same people I've watched save 10, 15, $20,000 over the course of a year and a half, 12 to 18 months, all because they had goals that they were intentional about reaching. And those goals created movement and it created a savings account that they never thought that, was even possible for them. So when you think about budgeting and you think about goal setting, think about this as an opportunity for you to give yourself more options. Think of this as an opportunity for you to strengthen your financial literacy and just for you to be able to have more buying power when it's time for you to start purchasing real estate. Preparation builds confidence. When I talk to someone for the very first time who is who's potentially looking to buy for the first time or looking to invest for the first time, because I deal with a lot of first time investors as well. And what I found is the sooner we can get together and start talking about your real estate plans, the more confident you are. It seems like you're able to navigate the process and whatever challenges come your way a lot better because we've been preparing for the process. A lot of people think, well, I'm going to wait until I get my credit together. I'm going to wait until I save 10,000, 15, $20,000, and then I'll call you. No, call me now so that we can talk about how you're going to do that and strategize, because each person has a different situation they're going through in their life. And you have to go about reaching those goals in different ways. I don't believe home ownership is like a one size fit all, because different people have to navigate different challenges in order for them to purchase their first home or, their investment property. So start preparing early because that builds your confidence. So if you know you want to purchase a home this year, later this year, next year, or even in 2 or 3 years, you want to start now. You want to start planning now. You want to focus now. And if you have any questions or comments, you can go ahead and put that in the chat while we're going through the presentation. And then at the end, we can go over all of those and any other questions that you may have. Okay, peace is part of the plan. I can't stress this enough. I am very big on what is your emotional status, I guess we can say, when we're going through the home buying process. I really want to know, what are your deep down thoughts about it? What I found a lot of times in the home buying process is many individuals have core beliefs about home ownership that really hinder them from being able to purchase properties. They may believe that, they'll never make enough money. Maybe they're the first homeowner in their family, or maybe they made some poor financial decisions before. Maybe they lost a home, had a foreclosure in the past, or they experienced that with someone. And therefore, they're coming into the home buying process already expecting the worst, already expecting negative. And I tell people all the time, we have to work through that as well. Because if we don't address it, I'm not trying to be your life coach. I'm not trying to be your therapist or anything like that. But I do know that if we don't address your doubts, your fears, your worries early on in the budgeting and goal setting process, then that's going to be a big, invisible hindrance to us being able to successfully get you the property that your heart desires, right? So peace is a big part of the plan. And if we work together, I care about your mental, emotional, and physical well-being just as much as I care about you closing on the home and me being able to get paid from that. Okay, I just want to make sure you're clear on that. And every heart deserves a home. Like I was just saying, if you know that and you believe that and you know it's your time, whether this is your first time or purchasing your home that you're going to live in, or maybe this is your first time purchasing investment property, maybe your investment property is going to be the home that another family can live in and set their goals and budget so that they can eventually purchase. So keep your dreams wide open and just understand that every dream that you have and every goal that you set can be reached. You just want to step by step work the plan. All right, what budgeting really means. So, sustainability over stretching. You may have or may not have heard of the term house poor. I heard this when I was purchasing my home. I've told clients this. I've heard people tell other individuals this. When it's time for you to purchase a home, we know that we are living in a very expensive society, a very expensive world. And so when we do get together and I work with my clients, we start talking about what's the affordability. What are you currently paying for rent? How much money are you able to save? What is your salary? What do you think you'll be able to afford over the long run? Like, what are your plans for the next 5, 10, 15 years? Because that really determines how you want to purchase your home. If you're someone, if I'm talking to a young couple about purchasing and they're both new in their career, and they're together, they're bringing in multiple six figures salary, but then one of them is, they're deciding maybe they want to start a family, and so that means one income might be cut. I would advise sustainability over stretching. Well, if let's look at maybe this next purchase being a purchase off of one income. Because if you can live off of one income, then you can better prepare for what might come along when you start to grow your family. And one income may not be coming in for a few years. Right. So these are just some of the conversations we have that all go into budgeting sustainability over stretching. So let's look at this. Approval is not the same as affordability. I Countless times I've had clients get approved for a certain amount. Let's say they get approved for, $400,000 that they can purchase a home up to 400,000, or they can purchase a home up to 300,000. Okay, that means that the bank or the financial institution that we went to, the mortgage company, whomever, when they did your application and they got your documents, they're saying on paper you can afford a $400,000 mortgage and whatever that monthly payment is. And I'll just throw out a number for a $400,000 mortgage on average. It'll be probably about, 20, anywhere from 25 to $2,800 a month. Right. But if you know your affordability, where you're comfortable, is you want to pay a mortgage that is no more than 2,000 a month or no more than 1,800 a month, then we're going to go back to your lender, the person who approved you, and say, what is the approval amount for this mortgage? Because we don't want you stretching. Purchasing a home is a big investment that will ultimately, inevitably cause you to have to spend more money than you probably originally thought, because you are now your landlord, right? So you want to make sure you can afford. So just because a bank approves you or a mortgage company approves you for something does not mean that you can afford that. And those are conversations that I have with my clients on a regular. So comfort matters more than max numbers. And that's what I'm talking about. You want to be able to live in a home where you're comfortable. I have a lot of people that when they first start the home buying process, they see these nice, big, pretty homes and have all of the amenities that they're looking for, but you pay for that. So I ask my clients, what are the non-negotiables? What do you absolutely have to feel like, if I'm gonna pay this mortgage, this is what I need to have? And let's work from there. Because what I don't want you to do is purchase a home that you can't afford. Now, some agents want to push the price ticket up because a lot of times agent commission is based off of the purchase price of a home. But I really value, of course, I want to get paid, but I really value making sure you are comfortable because you really want to budget for your real life. Like I just gave you the example of a couple. If you know in 2 or 3 years we're going to go from from two income to one because that's the plan. Well, let's plan out our next 5 to 10 years with that in mind, right? Not like let's look at what scenarios could come up, and not always the perfect scenario. What if you don't get the raise, right? What if you don't add that additional income, or something you were expecting to come through doesn't come through? Your children grow up, you no longer get child support, or whatever it may be. Let's budget based on real life and not best case scenarios. Okay, because we live real life every day. And we don't always have best case scenarios, but we have to, like I say, we have to play the hand that life deals us. And that's not always the best case scenario. So as a homeowner, you want to be prepared for that. When I purchased my home, I was 7 or 8 months pregnant. I knew I didn't want a fixer upper. I knew I needed something move-in ready. I also needed something because we were going from a 2 income household to one. So we needed something that was affordable on one income. And I remember people saying, or, you live in that neighborhood, or, I thought you would have bought a bigger house. Like, people can say some things to you. But I really appreciate the choice that we made. And I'm still thankful for it because I'm thankful for what we've been able to do by living within our means, not trying to keep up with the Joneses. I don't even know who they are, but I'm not trying to keep up with them. And stability builds long-term success. When you budget realistically and you look at being sustainable, then you're able to save more. Then you're able to get more into investing. Then you're able to grow your wealth because you're not stretched so thin financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because financial stress brings stress on every other area of your life. And smart buyers plan ahead. And that's what budgeting is all about. All right, the mental and emotional side of money. And this is what I was talking about a little earlier. Money is emotional before it's logical. So many times it's not that my clients can't save or they can't budget. Many times they don't realize how much they are emotionally spending their money, or they're just aimlessly spending their money. They're not being intentional about their money. Money needs a focus. Money needs to be handled intentionally. And when we do that, now we're able to save more, right? We have less stress, less fear, less shame around our decisions, right? When we're more intentional with our money. Another thing I found is when we are dealing with shame and we are dealing with fear, or, stress in life, we don't always make the best decisions. So sometimes you want to get with the agent through your home buying process that's willing to walk you through some of the emotional and mental challenges that you're going to go through. Because how often do you buy something that's $300,000 and $400,000? The average person doesn't buy things that are $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 every day. So we want to be clear about what's stressing us, what we're afraid of, what is bringing shame. Oh, my accounts don't look good. My credit isn't well. Well, we can strategize and set goals to get out of that situation. But if you're walking around in shame, you'll stay stuck there, right? We can't heal what we won't reveal. Avoidance delays process. If we don't deal with it, then what happens is we don't deal with it, and then we get stuck. And then we don't move. And then a year goes by, and another year, and another year. You still haven't purchased. And it's the same story. It's time to tell yourself another story. So we have to confront it. Avoidance causes delays in the progress. And honesty changes financial behavior. When you start telling yourself the truth, when you start confronting your fears and what you were running from, it may not even, your money decisions, the way a lot of people emotionally spend their money. So when you start to tell yourself the truth, some of the things you have to spend money on, you don't have to anymore. You can budget that money in other areas and allot it in other areas that get you closer to being a homeowner. But as your agent, as your heart realtor, we're going to have heart work conversations. Because if I notice that you are causing a hindrance or a blockage, I'm going to talk to you about it. I call it, let's have a courageous conversation. But this owning land is your right. And me being a believer in Christ, listen, we have been called to possess the land and have dominion over it. So I really take real estate seriously. And I also understand the challenges that we went through in our past and how they can impact every decision we're making right now, even if it doesn't seem like they're connected. And that's why I'm so intentional about healing and being able to see ourselves in a healthy way in every area. That's why heart equity is about personal, relational, and financial wealth. Because I don't believe you can be financially wealthy without being relationally healthy. And I don't believe you can be relationally healthy if you don't have a personal, healthy relationship with yourself. So that's why we want a healed mindset. Let's address the elephant in the room, whatever the lies are or the things that you don't know about real estate. Let's confront them, right? Let's confront some of the insecurities that you have so that you can make better financial decisions, because they do impact each other. So, okay, actually give me, I need 1 second. Hold on, 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. Had to jump off really quick. Okay, here we are. Okay, core budgeting categories. Now, what we're looking, excuse me. Um, when we think about budgeting, what truly impacts your buying power? Housing costs, when utilities and household expenses, transportation and insurance, debt obligations, savings and emergency reserves, lifestyle and personal priorities. Typically, when you are purchasing a home, a lender is going to factor in your what they call your income with the debts that you have on that are registered and online. So it's called what we call a debt to income ratio. And many lenders go by that to kind of determine how much you're going to be able to afford, how much they're going to approve you by. Now, you have different home buying programs that may operate in various ways when they determine affordability. But typically, they're looking at how much debt do you have, How much income do you have? And what is your credit score, right? Your credit worthiness. So when you think about housing costs, I talked to you briefly about affordability versus approval. And lenders don't often take into account your rent, but now you have people using their rent to help them grow and establish their credit. But they don't use your rental income as a debt. But some housing lenders, mortgage companies will take your rent into considerations when they're thinking about your affordability. But when you think about getting into a home, these are also areas you want to think about um, preparing to get into a home. And once you get into your home, you want to make sure that you're able to afford your housing costs. You want to make sure your utilities and your household expenses are affordable. Some people have had to move out of their homes, I found, because their utilities were too high and it cost them too much to lower those utilities. So they had to change where they were going to live so that they can find something that they can afford the housing costs as well as the utilities. Same thing with transportation and insurance. You want to make sure you live someplace where you can make it to work, where you can make it to, you know, your means of financial stability. And when we think about budgeting prior to moving in and after you move in, these are things that you have to keep in mind. Debt obligations. Now, when we think about debt obligations, that is a big one when you think about budgeting and getting into a home. I've had to help many clients, save to pay down credit cards, to pay down auto loans, personal loans, to get their student loans in a position that they can buy a property. So when you think about budgeting, these categories, savings and emergency reserves, these are all areas that you want to consider when you're budgeting. How much do you want to spend in these areas? How much can you afford? How much are you currently spending? How much can you afford to spend in the future? Right? And don't leave out your lifestyle and personal priorities. Yes, you want to have savings and emergency reserves, but I truly believe if you're not celebrating yourself and the hard work you're doing, then it's going to make it really hard to take care of any investment because the biggest investment you have is into yourself. And if you're going to be a successful homeowner, real estate investor, then you need to make sure that you also budget in lifestyle and personal priorities. I tell a lot of my clients when they're preparing to get in the home, because a lot of times they'll say, I'm not going out to eat anymore. I'm not traveling. I'm just saving up because I want my house. And I'll say, whoa, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Yes, if you go out every weekend, maybe go out one day out of the month, right? Or if you go and get breakfast 5 days a week, maybe you only do it once, maybe twice, right? And then you start to gradually see a change. I just did this with a client, and he was just amazed at the money he could save in 2 weeks just by making these adjustments. He didn't lose the things that he liked, but he was able to cut back and budget those things to work towards his future goals. All right, goal setting that works from intention to action. So when we think about you setting your goals, this is your homework. I want you to really think about what is your why for wanting to get into real estate. Is it why do you want to own this home? Now, I know you might say the obvious, I want some place to live, but it's something deeper than that that will pull you out of your normal routine that you're in now for you to move forward and say, I'm ready to buy or I'm ready to invest. Right? So, what is your why? You want to have a place for your family to always come and meet. Maybe you want to be able to provide healthy, secure housing for people in your community because you see a need for that, right? Maybe you're someone that's a caretaker and you want more stability and having some place that you can live and you don't have to move. And you can, invite people in and care for them as well. You may have different whys. Your goal may be to have 100 100 properties in your real estate portfolio. Whatever your why is, define it. Get clear on it. Because the more you're clear on your why, the more successful you're going to be at any goal, be it real estate or anything else. The next thing, let's set a realistic timeline. And when I say realistic timeline, I like to lean on the side of pushing the limit. So if you know you want to buy within the next year, then I'm like, let's set a 6 month to 9 months. Let's set a 6 month timeline that you can get approved. So you have 6 months to shop and you don't have to rush. Now, if you don't reach it, that's fine. But what happens if you do? I find so many people, they just don't think that they can do it. I just closed a deal with a client. We started talking about him purchasing in April of 2025. And he just was like, I got some things I got to take care of. I didn't get approved the first time. I got to go back to the drawing board. And I was like, let's talk about it. Let's plan. Let's strategize. So we talked about it. We had 2 conversations. And finally, between April and I'll say October. So that's about what? 6 months, right? 6 months. 6 months he got approved and he purchased. He closed on his home December. Right? Because we set a realistic timeline. He thought he would get into something. He said, I want to be in something by the end of the year, but I don't know if I can. I said, you can if you really believe you can. And he literally closed December 30th. So set a realistic timeline. Establish a comfort payment range. Let's look at your current income now and let's think about, what do you think you'll be comfortable paying for a mortgage? Now, I'll be honest. Many people I ask this question to, they often say a mortgage that I laugh at a lot of times, because I'm like, that does sound good and I get it, but realistically, you're probably going to have to, and it really depends on the interest rate at the time that you're buying and other factors, but the interest rate plays a big part in it. You want to start preparing yourself to be able to pay your mortgage. So let's say your rent is less than the mortgage that you will have. Then you want to start working out your budget so you can start getting prepared to pay that. Right? If maybe you're not used to paying a rent, or maybe this is something all new to you, paying a monthly housing fee like that. I talk to a lot of children, young adults, first time home buyers. They purchase homes. They've never really lived out on their own. So establish a comfortable payment range. What do you think you can pay for a mortgage and still be able to go out to eat once or twice a month and take a trip, a couple times a year? Right? Let's be realistic by that. And sometimes we have to sit down and crunch the numbers, but we do it. All right. Let's separate our needs from our wants. When we start budgeting, a lot of times we have to focus on, what do we need? We'll get to our wants when we get in our home. But when you're budgeting and setting goals, a lot of times you just have to be okay with denying yourself. You're going to have to deny yourself sometimes, meaning you might not always get what you want through this process, but you focus on having your needs. And once you reach your goal, now you can get back to focusing on all those wants. Maybe, maybe not, right? And align your goals with your season of life. For example, when we were purchasing this home, we were really in the full swing of like a young budding family. We had 3 children with 1 baby on the way. And, it was a lot going on. Now I'm in a season of empty nesting. My youngest is like a few years and he's out the door. So when I look at home owning and purchasing now, I don't even want the same things I wanted when we bought here 14 years ago. So when you look at your life, and like I talked about the couple, when they start looking for a home, they had 2 incomes over, 6 figures, but they know they're going to cut down to 1 income. So let's plan for that. So let's align with the season of your life that you're in. And let's set goals for that. Because I know we can reach them if we're very intentional about taking this action. And let's talk about the road ahead. Clarity creates momentum. So I talked a little bit on this last page about goal setting that works, right? And just some steps to doing that, from intention to action. Now let's talk about moving forward, right? The first thing you want to do is prepare. Start preparing. You know, if you were with us last month, I talked about the first thing you need to do in the home buying process is get with a great realtor. Get with one of a member of, our realtor network, right? Find you somebody good that cares about you and not just your buying power. Okay? So start the preparation process. Start to learn, what is your credit? What are your credit scores? What is on your credit report? What are your debts? It's so many people don't even know what they owe and to who. So start to get your finances in order, get your lifestyle in order. Where do you want to live? Where do you see your career going? Because all of this will help you as you prepare, and it reduces stress. Get support. Now, I don't advise you getting on social media or telling everybody you talk to, hey, I'm buying a house. Hey, I'm purchasing investment property. But I do encourage you to get with someone or a group of people that will support you. Your realtor, get a good real estate attorney. Your realtor may be able to connect you with that. Find people in your life who may have purchased before or may be into investing that can give you some insight and some advice, but also understand that your situation is different from theirs. I tell people all the time, when you go to get approved for a loan, it's like going to get insurance for your vehicle. They're going by your driving history, not anybody else's. They're looking at your driving history. So even when people give you advice, your situation will still have some unique nuances because you're unique. So find people who can support you through the process and who really care. They don't just say they do, but they really do. Consistency beats perfection. I can't say this enough. Just be consistent. If you say you're going to save $50 every pay period, save $50 every pay period, whether it hurts or not. If you say you're not going to go out to eat for lunch every day, you're only going to do it once a week, stick to that day. Find an accountability partner. Find someone to help you meal prep. Ask for help, but do your best to stay consistent. The discipline of staying consistent changes things in any area of your life, whether it's purchasing real estate, learning a new language, growing wealth, whatever it is. Consistency is the key, and it beats perfection any day. Will you fall off? Will you make mistakes? Absolutely. But if you stay consistent, it's going to work out for you, and it's going to work out the way you want it to. I truly believe it. I've seen it too many times. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. That's why we're here. I just want to educate you because a lot of people think budgeting is just so hard to do. And yes, it's a discipline. I feel like it's like dieting versus a lifestyle change. When you start to budget, you start to realize you can do it. When you really start to live by a budget, you realize it doesn't matter how much money you make. What I found is when you live by a budget, you seem to increase your income. Because if your money has intention, it usually multiplies. So be intentional about what you're doing and don't do it alone. I'm here to support you. If you ever wanted to um, you know, learn and be supported through the process, we have a community that is set up and designed to help you, right? We talk about you not doing it alone. And within Heart Homes Realty, we have our residence ownership initiative, which we call our Road to Approval program. It's our Road to Approval Academy. It's an approval coaching community. We walk you through the process of you setting those goals, getting that budget together, finding the lenders, the attorneys, the inspectors, securing the properties, and everything along the process. But the big thing about the road to approval is just the support in community and the constant education, where you have someone that you can go to, that you can ask questions, that's in the industry, that's doing the work, and that can support you along the process. So many people I talk to are out here doing it alone. And I've heard it said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I believe real estate is a long game, and that means the goal is to go far. And so the Road to Approval Academy is a way for us to go together. In the academy, you get 2 one-on-one coaching sessions, one coaching session when you enter, and another one-on-one session when you exit. That's included in the membership. If you want additional sessions, you can sign up for that. You get weekly teaching and accountability. That's like the bread and butter of it, because we are constantly going through the different stages of home ownership, pre and post home ownership. And so you're not stuck through any stage of the process. You could be someone buying for the first time, or you can be someone selling for the first time, and you just want more access to real life information and support, information that you can trust from trusted professionals. And that's what we're doing here. You get a step-by-step buying roadmap, supportive learning community. And for those that are serious about it, going from thinking to approve, registration is only $197, and then membership is $97 a month. And we have the Road to Approval. If you like to talk more about that, if you want to sign up today or just talk more about what the program entails, let's set up a discovery call so we can talk about it and find out if that's a great fit for you in this season. It's January 2026. It is, many people have started off the year with the goal of home ownership, and the Road to Approval, in my opinion, is a way for you to accelerate that process for you to get into home ownership. So before you leave today, choose one action to take before the next session. What are you going to do with budgeting, right? Are you sit down and write your why, right? Like find out how much debt you owe. What is on your credit report? Choose one action to take before the next session. The next thing I want you to consider, share today's insight with someone you care about. If there's someone you know that's interested in real estate or learning more about home ownership, please share this information with them because it could really help them. And stay connected for future webinars. Get on our email list, go to the website, adelaibrown.com. We're going to do these sessions once a month. And we're just here to educate you and be your trusted real estate source. So questions and discussion, we're going to go ahead and open up for that. What stood out to you today? What questions do you have? And how can I support your next step? Is there anyone that is in our session here live? And I'll also check on our YouTube channel just to see if there's anyone in the chat that has any questions or comments about today's session. You're welcome to ask in the chat or come off mute and share.
I don't have any questions, but I just appreciate your time and all of your knowledge and all of the information. I think that this is wonderful.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm so thankful for you being here and sitting through. And Michelle is my real estate buddy and my friend. And I just thank you for being here. It means so much.
I'm so glad that I could be. So, and it's just such great information, and the way that you deliver it is just so much a step higher than just relaying information and knowledge. You can feel how much you really care about everyone that you work with. And that's one of the things I love about you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it means a lot because I know you don't, mince words. So I appreciate that. And I thank you for hearing my heart. And I'm honored that you were able to feel that throughout the process.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome so much.
All right. So let's see here. That was so good. So good. So good. Let's see. So we're just going to go ahead and So if that's all we have, I don't see anything on YouTube as of right now. I'm checking it out. So if you're there, give me a second. I don't see anything there, so that's fine. Um, and yeah, I think that's it. Let's see. Here we go. So if you can see my screen, if you would like for us to stay connected, if you would like to set up a discovery call so that we can talk about your next steps in home ownership, you want to find out more about the road to approval and just what you might need to do to be able to get into your next home, because every heart does deserve a home. Let's stay connected. I am Adelai Brown, your heart realtor with Heart Homes Realty and Keller Williams, Charleston. My email is hearthomesland@gmail.com. Phone number 854-900-3977. And you can connect with me on my link tree, /heart homes, or you can go to adelaibrown.com/ Homes Realty, and we can get connected there. So thank you guys so much for spending your lunch break with me. I'm so excited to have you here. I hope that this was a very informative and educational lunch hour for you. And I'm looking forward to us doing lunch again next week. So remember, every second Wednesday, we're doing our lunch and learn. And so next month's topic is pre-approval made simple. So if you're looking at what you need to do or considering what do you need to do to get pre-approved, next month session is going to be great for you. So let anyone you know who may be interested, let them know about it, share our contact information. And I'm just so thankful to have you here. This is Adelai Brown, your heart coach. Um, and we're signing out. We will see you next time. Let's see. I'm trying to look, I'm all over the place with these cameras. Um, okay. So yeah, that's it. That is it. That is it. Thank you, Michelle. You have a wonderful day. Talk to y'all later.